Exclusive here at 10 o'clock, a $200 million project will bring around 1,500 jobs to the metro.
But the site of it all sits on land once filled with dangerous toxins.
Tonight, 41 Action News reporter Tom Dempsey shows us the work underway to bring new life to the site.
You probably have 50, 60 pieces of mechanical equipment working on the demolition activity.
For the last several years, the former Bannister Federal Complex site has sat abandoned. 225 acres, once home to work that included manufacturing nuclear missile parts, now the focus of an over $200 million federal cleanup project.
2 or 3 years from now, people aren't going to recognize this place.
The project comes after years of controversy and concerns at the site.
I was diagnosed with chronic granulocytic leukemia.
I have precancerous polyps. My wife has cancer.
Hundreds of former employees reporting illnesses, including severe diseases and rare forms of cancer due to exposure to toxic materials.
I was diagnosed with chronic leukemia,
leading to lawsuits and medical compensation claims. Further investigations done by 41 Action News show over 2,400 toxins at the site. Those issues now the source of plenty of work.
This is a very active site.
Developers recently granted 41 Action News.
This is the room that we meet in at least once a week.
An exclusive tour of the project.
Communication and coordination is really critical.
Kevin Breslin serves as principal owner of Bannister Transformation and Development.
It's prime industrial real estate.
The private firm that now owns the property.
Those are great jobs.
The project began with years of planning and mapping out areas where toxic materials were reported.
Areas where we had soil contamination, where there might have been spills of industrial chemicals over the years.
Plans all coming together in this room for a project to transform the site. Our tour soon taking us to the most sensitive work, addressing soil contaminated with toxins.
Areas with contaminated soil remain blocked off by some green fencing. You can see one spot right over here. This is about as close as we can get to areas like that. But with harmful materials still on the property, safety remains incredibly important.
So when you're taking samples, you wear the appropriate laboratory gloves. If you're working in an excavation area where like the soil contamination here, you wear a disposable Tyvek suit.
The project requires close attention, not only on the workers, but also conditions outside.
This is an air monitoring station. We have a number of these set up around the perimeter of the facility.
Multiple monitors, some even on the workers themselves, paying constant attention for harmful materials, not only possibly getting into the air.
These are the intakes. So one of those would be for particulates, one would be for the volatile chemicals.
But also into water, with special areas processing 500 gallons a minute.
This is one of the 4 stormwater detention basins. We collect all of the rainfall.
The close attention to detail means teams must keep an eye over the entire property.
Dust suppression is a critical part of our site control, and so we are constantly spreading water across the site to dampen it.
Creating what the team calls a safety culture with state officers close by.
Our job on site is to make sure that the group here is following the plans that are important.
The effort to rid the site of toxins includes a rail line reconstructed at the site.
This is again considered to be the most efficient, cost-effective way to move that material, but we're not impacting the local roads with a lot of truck traffic.
Train cars, all with a special lining.
That's completely sealed on top. There's no way that it can get out, and it's obviously protected from the elements too.
Hauling the contaminated soil around 500 miles away to a landfill in Roachdale, Indiana.
It was a lot of planning, yeah, and getting all the right contractors lined up.
The effort to clean the site of toxins, just one step of many towards redevelopment.
You're seeing in the distance the remaining demolition activity that's going on.
Abandoned buildings now being demolished and over 1 million cubic yards of new soil being brought in.
We're raising the grade of the site roughly 6 to 8 feet depending on where you are. So that's a lot of dirt.
All with a vision in mind for the future.
We came up with a comprehensive plan to repurpose the site, and that's what you're seeing here.
Making way for 2.5 million square feet of industrial warehouse and distribution space, bringing with it around 1,500 jobs.
You can kind of imagine the possibilities and kind of think forward. It's exciting work.
Years of planning and work on a site home to concerns and issues. now facing a future bringing new development and jobs.
It could have gone the other way, but everybody stepped up and decided to do it the better way, which is to create some new opportunity and new value down here for South Kansas City.
Tom Dempsey, 41 Action News.
Interesting look at that facility. Organizers say some of the non-hazardous demolished material will be recycled, and the project will take several more years to complete, and the site will continue to be monitored for several more years for any environmental concerns.